This is a new YouTube channel. This is my journal. I'm Dave Rael, and this channel's for me. So it's also to share my journaling process, share my, not the process. I'm trying to figure out what the process is. So I was talking to a friend yesterday, Reed Evans, who is a well-known functional programmer and speaker. And we talked about his daily video practice that he was doing to put content out in the world. We also talked about how that practice stopped and how he was putting out daily videos and it was an inspired effort to consistently produce content. And then when he decided to decrease the frequency, well, the practice stopped altogether. And I shared that my journal practice that I have documented and that I allegedly do, that I don't do it. And so an idea was conceived. And so this is an idea that is being born here, that I'm going to start a daily video journal practice, and that putting this out into a place where it can be viewed is going to be my effort at some accountability practice around the thing. So here we go, my daily journal practice. So in my daily journal practice that I don't do, I ask myself a series of questions, and I key responses to those. And so the things that I think I need to get a hold of here are trying to direct that I am doing the activities that I need to do and moving my life forward and being the person that I want to be. So James Clear has an email list, and he writes a lot of great content, inspirational about how you live your life and making sure you're getting the fullest of it. One of the emails that came out on his list was about the 4 burners theory. And so I think the way that this practice is going to work is that I'm going to check in each day with how I did yesterday and what I'm going to do today for each of the 4 burners. The 4 burners theory being basically that you've got this stove and you've got a limited amount of gas, and that if you really crank up the fire on one of your burners, well, that's going to take away from the gas that you can devote to those other burners. But that there are these four items that are important in your life, and they need your attention. And there may be times where you are devoting more gas to one of the burners than the other 3. There may be times that you're distributing it equally, but you want to be intentional about the way that you are doing those things. So the 4 burners that he lays out, let's see if I can remember this. I think it was family, health, work, and friends. So I'm going to be trying to do a daily check-in and think about what I'm doing to grow, to advance my existence, my state of being in those things, right? So Reed and I also talked about this Twitter hashtag goofy religion, that there are these guys, these developers that are trying to take care of themselves. And the conversation I had with Reed was recorded as an episode of Developer on Fire. And I think if somebody coming in and seeing these videos, you may not have context on what some of the things I'm going to reference here are, because this is primarily for me. So Developer on Fire is my podcast where I talk to software developers. I think going forward, I'm probably not going to be giving context around those things, but I don't know. We'll see. This is an experiment. We'll see how it goes. So how did I do yesterday, right? And I think that health is one of those things that I really need to talk about here, because I am heavy. And I think it's interesting that in the context of contemporary America, being overweight is not being overweight, right? Because of the morbid obesity that we have around. Somebody who's in my physical condition doesn't look that bad relative to a lot of the people that are around me. And really, I'm not concerned with how I look, but I mean, you can tell something by somebody's appearance, right? So you'll notice that I've got this hair on my chin, right? The first time that I grew this out was because my daughter thought it would be cool if I had this hair on my chin that I could stroke ponderously while I'm thinking, And so I did that. When I shaved it, I noticed that I've got kind of this double chin starting at the weight that I'm at currently. 215 pounds, by the way, and that there was this kind of this skin decoloration where my skin was folding there at the beginnings of this double chin. And that to me is, I mean, ultimately it's, cosmetic and who cares, but it is a feedback mechanism that tells me, dude, you're getting heavy. And I also have this practice of, I don't want to make decisions that I don't have to make so that I can put my energy into making the decisions that I do have to make. And so my closet practice is that I have a rotation of shirts that I can wear, and I just pull off the one that's closest to the door. And when clean shirts go into the closet, they go in the back, and it's just a rotation. And then I never have to think about what shirt am I going to wear. I just grab the closest one. And lately, that doesn't work all the time because some of the shirts in my closet are too small. But of course, that's the wrong way of stating it. I'm too big, right? So my shirts don't fit me, and it feels terrible when I play basketball. I'm slow, right? It used to be that I felt like I could defend anybody on the court, and I don't feel that anymore. And I want to fix that. So health is something that needs some of that gas, right? That burner is needing it. So what I did yesterday was that I went to the weight room and I lifted weights. So what I've been doing lately is that because I'm really wanting to emphasize that I'm improving my form, I've been using a hack squat machine for my my biggest compound lower body lift instead of using just a traditional barbell squat. And the reason for that is that I really want to emphasize that I'm getting an ass to heels squat in, and that's hard for me with the barbell. I think I'm going to try to work on that a bit with the hack squat machine, and then go back to doing the barbell squat. Did some bench press, some pull ups, some. What else did I do? I did some dumbbell curls, which I'm experimenting with that. I was of the mind that curls are more of a cosmetic exercise than really a strength training exercise. But I don't know. I'm going back to some of the way that I used to lift when I was in college. I don't know, just going back to my roots a little bit. I did some barbell seated triceps extensions, a shoulder press, and some seated calf raises, straight-legged deadlift. So that's what I did yesterday for my health. Played basketball a couple days ago, did some swimming the day before. Today is going to be a rest day. So I think I'm on the path there. More important than that is my diet. So eating the right things and not eating the wrong things is something that is it used to be easy for me. It used to be that I was religious about what I would put in my body, the temple that is my body. That's not been the case lately. So that health burner needs some attention. And today I need to eat vegetables. Having lifted yesterday, I'm going to treat it like a feed day. So that means I'm going to get some carbohydrates today as well. And I did that yesterday too, right? I did eat carbohydrates yesterday, and that's going to be kind of my plan going forward, is that on the day that I lift and the day after, that those are heavy carb days, and other days are going to be lighter on carbohydrates, and vegetables every day is a must. So that's going to be part of this journaling practice, is reporting in on how I'm doing on that. So family, what happened yesterday? So kids are going to school, right? So I don't see them for most of the day. But in the evening, my daughters and I, as my daughters were learning to read, and before, right, we had a consistent reading practice. Every night we would have reading time. And my son, I didn't read with my son yesterday. That's a failure. I need to make sure to read with him as well. What I did yesterday was read with my daughters. We had this practice of reading aloud together that we did consistently for years, and we read a lot of really awesome books. The Harry Potter saga was kind of the crown jewel, the crowning achievement of us having gotten through all of those lengthy books, and the girls really growing with Harry Potter, and that was cool. And my daughter expressed that she missed that we had that reading aloud time. We them growing up, they're now independent, and we haven't been doing this read together and take turns reading aloud thing for a while. So we're reading a book called Kid Owner by Tim Green, I think is the name of the author. I believe he's an ex-NFL player, and so this is a book about a kid who is learning about life through his experience of football, and he has this unique situation where he becomes the owner of the Dallas Cowboys during his so anyway, it's an interesting and fun book, and that was quality time with my daughters yesterday, and that was good. So, and had a family dinner in the evening and all of that, and my son was actually listening as me and the girls were reading, so he was engaged there as well. So I would say that is a win for the family burner yesterday. Friends, that conversation with Reed Evans, epic, right? So Friends is a little strange. It's a little, growing up, right, I went to school with kids and had friends who lived local to me, and exactly what you think of when you think of friends. Today I have friends that are local, some friends from school and things like that, but I really don't see them much, right? The demands of family, and yes, we're local in the same metropolitan area, but a lot of my friends live at opposite ends of that, and face-to-face time with friends is something that doesn't really happen a lot anymore. Sometimes with the parents of my kids' friends, we'll spend some time, and my wife is friends with a lot of people in those circles, and they go for girls' nights. I don't do a lot of that, and honestly, I'm okay with that. But my friends now are mostly Skype relationships, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but I think for now it's what it is, and I'm okay with it. So being able to talk to Reed yesterday was huge, and Reed, great guy. I remember he started listening to my podcast, and he was this guy on Twitter who liked and retweeted a couple of my podcast episodes, and then he sent me this direct message saying, "Hey, are you going to be at this conference that's in Boulder, Colorado?" And my answer was no, but if you're going to be in the Denver area, well, then let's meet, right? So it was 2 years ago at LambdaConf that Reed was here in town, and we got to go sit down and have a burrito while he was taking a break from the conference, and that was cool. Reed is a friend. Got to see him again in Kansas City this past summer when I was there for the Kansas City Developer Conference, and so right now, the gas on my friends burner is those kinds of relationships. Got to talk to Matt Watson today, also a guy that, well, not also Kansas City. Reed lives in Knoxville, Tennessee, but Matt Watson is a Midwesterner and a member of my Facebook group and a guest on Developer on Fire. Got to talk to him yesterday for his second appearance on Developer on Fire too. So those, that right now is my gas on the friends fire. That and my mastermind group with some awesome developers who are good guys, and we're just trying to band together to help each other to expand the scope of our existence and make sure we're living the lives we want to. This is getting long. I'm talking way more than I intended to do here. That fourth burner. What am I missing here? Work. So yeah, those interviews for Developer on Fire, that's part of the work that I did yesterday. I don't really know if that's what I want to journal on here. Also some work for a business that I am doing some work for. Wrote a little code yesterday, and I don't know if this is terribly interesting and really part of the thing. I mean, I'm going to be doing work. Maybe the scope of this journal practice should be about big things that I've got coming up. So work that goes into my Developer on Fire remote conference is probably stuff that I should be journaling on. Yesterday, didn't really do a lot to take that forward, a little communication with some of the speakers of the conference. Oh, actually, I did do some stuff with AdWords too. So I'm going to try to experiment with using some internet advertising to see about getting an audience for the thing, trying to sell some tickets for it. So that's that. Gratitude, I think, is something that I also, as part of my journal practice that I've not kept up with, is an expression of gratitude. David Giard, who has been on Developer on Fire, he's got this amazing gratitude practice where he's tweeting and Facebooking his daily messages of gratitude and pointing out something that he's expressing gratitude toward. And I like that. I think the public nature of it, and I've every time I've tried to do a gratitude practice, it's felt like going through the motions. And I feel like I'm trying to come up with something, either stating the same things, right? I'm grateful for my family, which I mean is obvious and given, and it goes without saying. So when I state something like that, I feel like I'm going through the motions, or I feel like I'm trying to just go through the motions of stating something I haven't stated before, which I'm not satisfied with that as accomplishing the purpose of what I want in a gratitude practice. But I'm going to try to do something like what David Giard does in this medium, where I'm just going to try to say something small about gratitude for something that happened yesterday, or something that's on my mind currently. And so I'm going to say that conversation with Reed was gratifying in ways that a lot of experiences fall short of. I think it's going to make for a great episode of the podcast. It was just a human connection on a deep level, and I think we helped each other to expand. So, Reed, thank you. That was a really good time, and here we go. Right, this is going to conclude my journal for today. Future installments of this, I think, are going to be a lot shorter, more to the point. Talk about the 4 burners, talk about what happened yesterday to advance things. And oh yeah, what am I going to do today? So I've got one interview on my calendar for Developer on Fire, and I've got some work I need to do today. I've got a TV that's out, and I need to either figure out how to repair that myself or find out where I'm going to take it to get it repaired. And so I think that's probably enough for today. Oh yeah, and on the physical front, eating vegetables today, eating clean carbohydrates, which means that instead of filling up on things like, bread or something like that for carbohydrates, I'm going to eat some sweet potatoes today and some rice. And so that's the gist of what's going on here today. Oh, and rest, right? The rest today. After lifting yesterday, I'm going to make today a day of not doing anything deliberately for the sake of a physical activity. So signing off for now. First installment of the journal. This will probably evolve into something more useful as it goes.